What's up? What's up? What's up, people? This is the show, the one and only Live and Level Gamers Podcast, episode 110. We have the crew in the building. Keith Norris, K-Bum 20. Hopefully, D2K jumps in. Have a lot to talk about. A lot of tears, a lot of people upset, a lot of people's predictions and prophecies came to pass. And yes, we got some stuff to talk about. But let me let these two dudes introduce themselves because I don't want to just be doing all the talking. So, Mr. Norris, go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Man, what's up, everybody? Ready to talk these video games and not getting electrocuted trying to hook up my Switch with voice chat.
Like I told you the other day, I got the duct tape, man. I got the duct tape and electrical tape. Anyway, Mr. K-Bum 20, go ahead, man.
Yo, what's up? Just K-Bomb 20, ready to get it in. And can y'all believe that OJ's almost free?
Oh, wow.
So my wife asked me about that when I got home. I'm like, no, I didn't even really know. But he shouldn't have never had that much time anyway. They trying to make him, they trying to punish him for not supposedly getting him on the murder cases. So,
Level head.
yeah, man.
Level head? We already got two
Go ahead.
thumbs down. What you say already?
I don't know, man. I'm making haters out here, man. They don't like me no more. I'm the villain. I guess the name of the video, people saw it because the app wasn't what folks thought it was gonna be, or is what they thought it was gonna be, or worse than what they thought it was gonna be. So anyway, I don't know. It is what it is, man. I ain't mad at them. Thumb it down if that's what they want to do. Long as you watching, don't matter to me. But yeah, man. This is the Live and Level Gamers Podcast, episode 110. We are back to do what we always do, and that is talk games. But before we get into that, before we get to talking about what you've been gaming on, did you guys get a chance to check out Spider-Man Homecoming? Doors?
No, bro. I was in New York when he have a chance to check it out with the wife yet.
Oh,
she was out of town and we was in New York.
But I thought for sure you had went and watched it.
We wanted to in New York, man, when they have time to.
Nah, I haven't seen it yet.
I understand. Oh, you haven't seen it yet, man. Y'all missing out. Y'all need to go check that out, man. I would love to be able to chop it up with you guys about Spider-Man Homecoming and where you stack it at amongst the Marvel Universe movies at the theater. But since y'all ain't seen it, there's no point in continuing that conversation. So let's continue. Keith Norris, what you been gaming on, man?
I have been gaming on, and I'm gonna pull it up. Played a little bit of Resident Evil Revelations 2 last night. Played a little Dirty Bomb last night, like one match. I don't know if y'all know what that game is. Game been in beta for almost 2 years, so this is one of those team-based shooters. It's actually pretty dope. Free to play on Steam. Still playing on NBA 2K16, just waiting on NBA 2K18 announcement on the Switch. And I also dabbled in the Resident Evil Revelations, the first one. And I think that's about it. Oh, I've been playing, what's the game on Switch? Blaster Master with Shantae. That was a free DLC with Shantae as the character. And it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I suggest if you got that game, download her. It's pretty fun.
Okay. K-Bum 20, what you been gaming on, man?
I'm still rocking that Overwatch competitive mode. I got a couple partners that I chop it up with late at night. So I've still been working on that. I haven't got too much Tekken in. The competition is fierce on the level I'm at. So I gotta build up my strategy, my strategy to go back at it. So I haven't done that in a little bit. I didn't get a chance to get too much in, other than a little Overwatch and a tidbit of Madden, because I was out of town with the wife, kicking it in New York City. So I didn't take the PlayStation with me. So So I didn't get a chance too much to do that. But outside of that, that's why I've been gaming on. And also, before the podcast, your boys have been flaming me a little bit, but yeah, I got a chance to play. Some of you guys may know of this game. So it's not a video game; it's actually a board game called Marvel's Legendary. Some of you guys who play board games may know about it, but it's pretty legit. I enjoy it. A couple people that I play with, not too many people, but I play with them. And how it works is kind of you work together to kind of beat the a deck that kind of plays itself. It's actually a pretty cool game. If you guys get a chance to go out, if you're a big Marvel fan like I am, you can go out on YouTube and check it out and see how the game actually plays. And actually, it's actually pretty fun with all the expansions that they have out there. So I know they kind of flame me for it, but I am a dork on many occasions and many levels, and not just video games, but I do get into the board games and a little bit more than Monopoly. I try to spread my horizon. So that's why I've been gaming on.
Okay. That sounds pretty interesting. That sounds pretty good, K-Bob. As for me,
oh, for real, Keith. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yeah, I was trying to keep up with the whole Legends talk. What? Go ahead and tell us more about it. Anyway, no, don't do it. Don't do that.
Don't worry about it. You got yours coming, man. You keep on with the keep on.
No, you do me like this anyway.
That's
anyway, as far as me, I got it in on some ORMs this week, and some Mario Kart this week. A little bit of NBA Playground, but I also played Metal Slug. I actually made it was intentional about actually trying to get far in that game. That game was hard, man. I'm glad they got infinite lives. You can just keep starting over with a new person, because I was getting ate up in that. But play a little bit of that, but mostly ORMs this week. I went out and pre-ordered Splatoon 2. I traded in. I got see here, and I was telling Keith this. Earlier. I'm privileged to have a local game store that actually gives you good money or good trade-in value for your game. So I took in Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. I also took in Splatoon for the Wii U and traded them both in and got 24 for both. So 26 or 27 for Splatoon 2. I mean, for Splatoon, and 24 for Mario Kart, or it's vice versa. One of the two. But I end up walking out with $50 for $51 for those. No, $49 for those two games, and then I also traded in Metroid Other M and got like $6 for it. So that tells you what that game is worth. So basically, the game is almost all but paid for. So tomorrow I'll just be dropping like $6-7 on it, and I will have Splatoon 2. So I'll be playing that, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But the ORMs, I got it in until I got to, what is her name? The black girl's name. Is it
Twin Tail?
Twin Tail.
Yeah.
I couldn't beat her, man. I had it on like level 5 or 6. It wasn't that high, so I figured I get a little challenge, but I'll be able to beat her.
Were you focused? Were you looking at her?
Wasn't happening.
Were you staring?
Nah, level over the time about.
Listen to her. Let me put it like this. She is a nice looking character. I'm not gonna front, but no, I wasn't looking at her. It was just, I don't know what it is. Her block defense, the umbrella she has, and the way that she does what she do. I couldn't beat her. And I played her for about 45 minutes and couldn't beat her at all. So I ended up turning it off. She was about the 8th player I fought, or 7th or 8th player I fought. But I just couldn't get past her, man. So, but I had a good time playing that with my daughter. And that's about it as far as me. But yeah, man, if y'all can find some local mom and pop gaming stores, don't go to GameStop and places like that and let them rip you off in your trade-ins. Like if I would have took both of those games to GameStop, they was only going to give me $12 a piece for Splatoon and Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. I literally got double that for both of those at this particular place. It's called Gaming Grounds. That's what it's called. So if I go there, that's where I do all my trade-ins at if I can, and I just let them order the game for me, so it'll be here tomorrow for me. So, but that's what I've been doing. I went out and saw Spider-Man. I want to talk about this so bad, but since no one here has seen it, I bet you D2K has seen it, but he's not here at the moment. Was my wife in the room? Who is this? Cornelius. Yes, my wife was in the room. I wasn't looking at her that hard. Come on, man. She nice looking with dog. No, I ain't that of a. I'm not that low with it. But anyway, yeah, she was in the room, Cornelius. But anyway, but that's been my gaming experience for this week. Looking forward to tomorrow to get on that Splatoon 2. Been working on some music. Been doing a whole lot, but that's been my gaming week. So anyway, y'all ready to jump in on these topics?
Let's do it.
Let's get it in,
All
man.
right. Now, of course, we know about the whole app situation with Nintendo and the new online app being released early. We can talk about that, or we can talk about this idea me and Keith and Jedi Knight was kind of discussing in a private discussion about the fact that maybe Nintendo needs to pursue not third party, but mobile titles and bring them over like they did with Implosion to the Switch. And could this be a gold mine that Nintendo could tap into that would totally make third party not necessarily irrelevant, but not as needed if you got some of these games that will fill some of those voids and gaps that you don't have on your platform? Which one y'all want to talk about first?
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. So, other day, me, Keith, and Jedi Knight was in a conversation, and Keith, I think Keith sparked it. Talking. Well, let me let you take over, Keith, because you kind of sparked it. But go ahead and set up what you had shared with us.
Well, it sparked based on what you had sent me. You sent over, sent us. You sent over a video with I guess it was like a reel of mobile games and showing you what type of games that could come to the Switch. And I was thinking to myself, if these guys were to bring these games over, up-res them, like make them to 1080p or 720 or whatever they got to do, add some other graphical effects, that would be easier. It would be easier to port these games over and build up than it is for, like a Anthem type of game to be built on the PC and then be built, or shall I say downscaled to fit on the Switch. So that's what we were basically talking about. And everybody was kind of in agreement that that's a great idea because look, a lot of these mobile games look good. Like you look at these iPhone games and like their full resolution and all the other stuff, they actually look good and they run pretty well. But the only problem is they're virtual controllers. So the Switch has an advantage there. Two, they can be cheap, quick games that you can get out with some additional, fixes that I think the masses would appreciate, in my opinion. So that's what we're talking about.
So I went and because when I saw the wheel of all the games that might be coming, all the mobile games that are currently possibly going to be ported over to the Switch, I was like, well, I'm gonna be honest. As a gamer, when I think mobile games, I don't be thinking of these type of games being there. Hold up, just a sec.
Hey, bro, you still playing your card game, man?
All right, I'm back. I had to get my daughter. She always do this when I do a podcast. She try to come down and talk to me. But anyway, so I went and I started looking at games that are mobile games to see the quality of them and how they might fare on the Switch. And dude, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's a few of these. I got a video in works to kind of go into this a little bit more. But I went and I looked up this game called Heroes. It's called Hit Heroes of Incredible Tales. It's basically I don't know if you would call it a hack and slash, but it's like an MMO role playing game. But if you look at the game, it'll put you in the mind of like a Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, and it's right there on the mobile devices. But the thing is, if you bring it over to the Switch, you get the added controls of the Switch and the extra power of the Switch. Like Keith was saying, they can up-res this game, as do some advanced stuff on it, make it more polished as far as visuals. They can add the controls of the Pro Controller or the Joy-Cons and the HD Rumble. And this game can go from what it is right now to something very special with little work, and it will fill gaps. Like another game I saw was called Unkilled. It's a zombie game, third-person shooter. Looked real good. And I was like, man, that'd be dope if that came over to the Switch and they basically retooled it and made it take advantage of what the Switch can do. And then another game was Dead Trigger 2. It's a first-person shooter, which Nintendo wouldn't have to keep going after the Call of Duties or the Battlefields. Nintendo could go here, get these games, upscale them, bring them up to 1080p, 60 frames per second, add the extra controls on there, all the bells and the whistles, and it can be either exclusive to the Switch or there go another title that they can bring up to the Switch that doesn't. It might be a mobile game, but just like Implosion, when I actually saw Implosion, I was like, man, that looks pretty dope for a game that was a mobile game on the Switch, and I plan on getting. I haven't gotten it yet, but I plan on downloading that game because I saw a few people playing it, and the game look dope. It looks like a Bayonetta, Devil's May Cry, but it's from a overtop view, but it looks real dope. And I was like, man, or I would say a Metroid Other M type angle. But I was like, man, that's dope. And these are all mobile titles. Could Nintendo put more focus there and get those games that are nice over there that got horrible controls, bring them over to the Switch, give them good controls, and there you go. You don't have to spend your time, and it can be cheaper for your fan base because, again, like Keith said, they're a mobile game. So, K-Bun, what you think about that, man? And those comment section, y'all chime in too, but what you think about that, K-Bun?
Sorry, some Cheetos in my mouth. Hold on, let me get them Cheetos out.
Hey, hold on before you go. If you go to Google Play and go to the apps and go to games, I'm looking this up right now. Mad Finger Games is Mad Finger Games is the people who made Dead Trigger 2. You got Game Lawful, got Modern Combat, which is basically Call of Duty. And then they got this game called Nova I used to play on my mobile phone, on my Android phone a long time ago. These games were actually decent. And did you say you said
by NVIDIA.
True.
They're powered by NVIDIA.
And did you say Unkilled?
Unkilled, yeah, it's a zombie shooting game.
I'm looking at it right now.
Unkilled.
These graphics actually look pretty good for what they are.
And do you notice that all that is for the Shield?
Yes.
All that was running on the Shield,
which is basically the Switch.
The Switch. So I'm like, man, and I know we just asked K-Bum a question, but what you think, K-Bum? Like, is Nintendo? I don't know if they actually do this or not, but are mobile games a potential gold mine for Nintendo with the Switch?
When we say gold mine, now that word is a word that I may disagree with, but I do think there is potential there, but I wouldn't exactly use the word gold mine. I think it's a wide area that Nintendo can capitalize on, and in the future make it a gold mine. But I don't think because the mobile games kind of remind me on the same level of like what a Rocket League could be. Rocket League has created itself to be a gold mine, but that's more of a diamond in the rough type of thing. It's not something that continuously happen. Well, there are definitely ones out there, but there's a couple of things I wanted to. I think there's possibility there. I kind of said that beforehand, but I'll circle back. There's possibility there, but I think these development companies need help for that. Because usually on the mobile side, there's a couple factors I want to tie in here. On the mobile side, you usually have a smaller development team. And so you are asking for the small development teams to um, focus on the Switch and then the mobile gaming, which I don't think is going to be too hard. Like you said, some of those games are running on the Shield as well, so I don't think it would be too hard to integrate it within Nintendo's system. But you still got to have that Nintendo seal of approval. But you are asking the development team to kind of work on two. I mean, I guess work on one and then port down. And the second, the teams are small, but on the second is advertising. In order for these games to sell as well as they can, is that they need that backing from Nintendo. They need that seal of approval for Nintendo to help with the marketing, because a lot of these companies don't have enough money to get a commercial to really get the word out there. And stuff like Rocket League spreads by word of mouth. It wasn't really marketing. It's very little. But if these games want to be a universal hit on the Switch, I think you do need some marketing. You do need to be able to get that name out there, get some hype. Something like Microsoft and Cuphead. You get a good little thing out there and start putting some money behind it. So I think some of these development teams would need some help with that on the end of trying to get that advertisement up and trying to get people aware that there's a game, because there's probably some more gems on the PlayStation network, or even on the Xbox, um, um, the XBL, whatever it's called, XBN, whatever, that some gems that no one knows about because there's no advertisement for it. You may have heard about it once, but not really. And so if you want those games to, I know we're talking about kind of replacing third party, but I think we kind of said we're not talking about replacing, but kind of, not replacing, but just taking the place of, just substituting for the time being some of those empty holes you get when you don't have third party. Then Nintendo will definitely have to assist and maybe put some money for advertisement, so people can understand that, hey, yeah, there's a game on the system, and yes, it's good, and yes, you should try it. So I think there is potential there. But I think it's kind of raw potential, because you don't know kind of what you're getting with some of those mobile. There's a lot of good games, and there's a whole lot of shovelware. And the way that you get through the shovelware and the good games is one, advertisement. A lot of games I bought because I saw an advertisement, and word of mouth being spread.
Okay. Well, I would say I do believe it could be a potential gold mine for this reason, and even without crazy promotion. I want you to go look at a game, look it up if you can, real quick, K-Bum. It's called World War Heroes. Just type in World War Heroes mobile, and then type in and once you watch that one, I want you to look at this other one called hold on, let me find it again. Torch something. Hold up. Torchlight Mobile. Look those two games up. If Nintendo just start allowing these developers to, or aiding these developers in taking full advantage of the Switch and its capabilities, and you take a game like World War Heroes, which is basically Battlefield or Call of Duty. I don't know if Keith saw that one.
I'm looking it up.
It's a first-person shooter. It looks really good for a mobile game. If they just up-resed it and just threw it in the eShop for, let's say, $20, 15, 19 bucks. And here it is, a first-person shooter that plays good, that looks good, and is filling a gap or a void that's there on the Switch. That means Nintendo doesn't have to go lobby EA or lobby Activision or whoever else to bring a game to these genre, to these voids on the Switch. We just go to this mobile small developer, give them a platform, let them put it in our eShop, and and just by word of mouth, just like Rocket League, let the fan base find out about it, and just let the eShop fill up with all these more prominent, more games that kind of flirt with, that possibly could be big titles if they had good backing of them. So, because there's a lot of games that I did not realize there were on mobile devices that actually played like what we would play on a home console. I didn't realize these games. I actually played one, and the only thing that made it hard to play was the control. First-person shooter on, and it was on my iPhone. It was a first-person shooter. I can't remember what it was. It was futuristic. The game was dope, looked dope, but the controls was bad. It was just the controls was horrible, but the game itself was pretty dope. And I'm like, if they would bring games like that, put it on the Switch in the eShop, give you access to a real controller, you got some good games that's made by small no-name developers that can be a gold mine for the Switch, because all these games was flooding in, filling up these voids, these areas where Nintendo and third party ain't seemingly getting together on, like fighting games, action adventure games, MMOs, first-person shooters, third-person shooters. Yeah, we don't know much about them, but they cheap. And there you go. You can go. I mean, I think it would be pretty dope. I would play a few of these, would be worth it.
I agree, and not just it'll be a gold mine for Nintendo, but also for these developers, man. They can get their name out there a lot more than what they've already have. You know what I mean? By just placing it on the Nintendo Switch. I think this is. I'm looking at this World War Heroes game right now, and it don't look, like too much like a console level. But I'm pretty sure if they brought it to the Switch, they could up-res it, give a server to it, and people can go at it and have fun. I would say about $15 with all of the extra stuff, because most of these mobile games have it to where you can buy upgrades and stuff like that for money. I would say just unlock all that stuff, put it on the Switch, and let people have fun.
I will. So I'm going to kind of say I'm a little different on that, because that's how these companies make their money, is that microtransaction. And if you kind of take that away, you do take away that pure revenue stream that they do get from that. So I would kind of have to just play that by ear to really see if that really is the best way to do it, because you are really harming, because you got people who are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a week on if you buy from Nintendo, you spend $20 and you're done.
Well,
Right.
here's I'm using
you still got the mobile. You still got the mobile counterpart that they can still do that. Let's say you got the mobile game that's getting that type of revenue, but then you got the Switch, which you might not get. It might not let you do the microtransaction part, but you charging more for the game, and that's just added revenue on top of the folks who are playing it on their mobile devices. So right. it's like Implosion.
But it's also lost revenue if you look at it that way too. Because if you can do the microtransaction on Nintendo system as well, but you're selling for $30 up front, that is lost revenue.
Two different types of fan bases, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but I do want to point out that is to me considered, if I was the company developing that, I am losing money on that.
It depends on if the game was making that much money to begin. Let's say we don't know if these games are making a whole bunch of money.
I mean, they do make the money off of that, though. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Some of them do. What I'm saying is, let's say this game is on mobile devices. It's a pretty decent game, but not many people know about it. Ain't many people playing it. but it's a good game. You bring it over to the Switch, and instead of charging $2-3 for it, or letting you download it for free and just getting money off of you possibly buying more weapons, I can charge you 20. Let's say 100, 200,000 people buy it. That's $20 times 200,000. I don't think anybody's gonna be upset with that. When I don't think nobody will be upset with that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I'm not 100% agree with that. Not yet, because I know that these free to play make buku money when if they do, or if they are selling them popular, they can make $25-$30 a week from a person.
One of these dudes said FE Heroes made like 100 million. So yeah, some of these do make a lot of money, but still, I don't see no loss if you bring it to another platform. If you're making that kind of money, on the mobile devices, and you just make it available to councils in a different form, you still making money because you still got the mobile device still doing what they doing. Now you got access to a whole nother fan base, like Keith was saying, that might just buy the game right out. You really ain't. I don't see nowhere unless you just stop doing the mobile part and only focus on the Switch or the PlayStation or the Xbox. Then yeah, you might lose money. But if you still making it available on mobile devices and you still getting them folks to buy in there, and then you make it available to home console audiences, and you getting that $20 there, you ain't losing no money.
I'm still backing off on that not losing money part, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I actually want to tie on to that and say I believe Torchlight did that for the Xbox 360. If I'm saying this right, Torchlight actually came out for the Xbox 360.
Okay.
The first one. There's a Torchlight 2 out, and it's not on any Xbox system. So it seems like they came out for $14.99 on the Xbox, the original Torchlight. But Torchlight 2 is not coming out for the Xbox. So it seems like Torchlight on the Xbox side did try that, and they did do the whole $15. But I would definitely want to see why they didn't release Torchlight 2 on the Xbox.
So you think it's probably money? They didn't probably make as much money.
I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on what it is. I mean, we can throw many of conclusions on why they did not. But it seems, the way I'm looking at it now is that it did come out. The original came out for the 360. The second one does not.
Well, I'm just saying that based on how Nintendo will get a game and then the second one won't come because they didn't make enough money. So I'm just, but I understand. I'm actually going to look it up myself and see why it didn't come. But to your point, in Implosion, they did that with Implosion. Level just brought that up, where I think they release all the stuff in it, and all you can pretty much grind and get all the stuff out instead of paying for it. I hope it paying out for them. Like Level was saying, I hope they hope more games come over, because I think it's a gold mine, especially with how anemic that the Switch games are right now. I think it would actually do well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to me, once I started to realize that there are actually games like this in the mobile space, it really changed my idea from the the games that I was thinking of mobile when I was watching my wife play Match That Cake, or I don't know what the game's called, my aunt playing Formland, and that's what my mind was. I wasn't thinking that mobile devices had full-fledged games that look equivalent to what you would play on a console. I never really saw those games. Now I did see a few NBA games on my friend's son used to play NBA 2K on the phone, and it looked good. But again, I just wasn't really putting two and two together. I'm like, man, I always saw mobile as something to avoid. Like, no, Nintendo, don't get wrapped up in those mobile titles and get clowned. But now I'm looking at it like, dude, Forget third party, man. Look at some of these games, get them over to your platform, fill up your eShop with these titles, and let third party do what they want, because everything your fan base is looking for would be, it would be some game somewhere there that will fill that void. It might not be Call of Duty, but that don't mean it can't be as good or better than Call of Duty. You never know. But there's a whole bunch of variety here that Nintendo can tap into that would make the Switch even more attractive, because now you have Nintendo's games and you have these other genres being addressed without having to beg and for third-party support. That's what I'm saying. So, and the more I look at these games, and this dude is so many, dude, these games look good. And I just did not realize these games. And I'm watching this dude play, and he used them basically touchscreen functionalities, but the game itself is ridiculous. But just imagine you adding a real controller there. You got some dope games here to be played, and it's like Nintendo would be smart to maybe approach these guys like, look, we want you to bring that game over to the Switch. We'll help you bring it to our platform. This is how much we want you to sell it for. You don't have to sell it for 30 and 40 bucks. Sell it for 20, and you will see it, and we'll promote it. And I think I see people just like Snake Pass. I think a lot of people bought Snake Pass strictly because it was coming to the Switch and it was cheap. And it turned out to be a pretty good game. So, and play NBA Playground, the same thing. It was coming to the Switch and it was cheap. I'd rather spend 20 bucks on a pretty decent game than to go out and spend 60 bucks on a AAA game that end up being garbage. So, I think this is possible win-win, man.
I found something on Polygon about Torchlight 2. It said in September 2012, when Torchlight 2 was launched, Runic CEO Max Schaefer told IGN that a port possible was unlikely. He said, "We haven't ruled it out, but to do a port like we did last time will probably not be in the cards because of the limitations of the Xbox Live Arcade. We would have to downsample all the artwork this time. With Torchlight, we were able to do a direct port of pretty much all of the art assets. Other than the interface that had to be redesigned, it would be a lot more work this time. It's questionable whether a business case can be made for that." I need to go look at Torchlight 2 and find out how.
Right. And they got a downgrade to get to the Xbox.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. There's some games on there that will literally make your head like, dude, this is actually on a mobile device.
No, I agree. I've seen them. There are some really good looking games.
Oh wow.
But there's several things. Like I said, I want to make sure to caution this. One thing I know that Apple Store tries to do is that they try their best to allow the cream of the crop to rise to the top. If you are unable to allow your best games to be seen and ready available by people, and you have a lot of shovelware on your system, people are not going to use the store, or people are not going to buy games because they don't know if they're getting crap or not. And I know for these mobile games, they have to do that because there's a lot of crap out there. So they have several different ways of allowing the top games to be seen more when you go to the store and stuff like that. They're more visible. And so that's one thing that Nintendo will have to do if they do go down this path. Is once people start getting burned on bad games, they're going to start buying it altogether, using the store altogether. That's why it's going to be important for them to do that and to allow those really good games to have its time in the light.
Maybe this is where demos come into play again, because I know, like on the app, you can download. You don't like it, you can, most of these games be free, so you can play it. If you don't like it, erase it. Like most of the games I'm talking about that I played on my iPhone was free. I remember playing this game, Bruce Lee game. It was a fighting game, and it was a dope game. I was locked out of the full game because I didn't pay for it, but the free version was pretty fun. Like I said, I played this other shooting game that was basically a demo of the game. I played it, I liked it, but I wasn't willing to buy that game play a game like that continually on my phone. But if Nintendo allowed these same demos to be downloaded and you could try out the game, and then if you like it, you know what I'm saying, you can straight out purchase it. There you go. Your issue solved. Let a demo be there. Let the developer who makes that game supply a demo for that game, a downloadable demo to play it.
So you said you didn't want to play it on your phone because basically the controls, the game was cool, but it wasn't good enough to pay for.
Yeah, I wasn't going. Yeah, I couldn't play that game with touch screen controls trying to emulate a controller because it don't register all your moves. A lot of times you pushing it and it don't read because either one finger is on the screen and the other, and so it ain't registering what you're doing. But if you remove that latency and that chance of error with a pro controller or Joy-Cons in the grip, you got a dope game on your hands. You got really good games there. So, and I know there's potential for garbage, but let's be real, folks. I bought Street Fighters 5. I bought so many games that I spent $60 on that was basically garbage. So if I can take chances on $10 games, $15 games, and they turn out to be not so good, I'm not gonna be as mad if I spent my $60, $62 on a game that turned out not to be good. See what I'm saying? So
no, I see what you're saying, but I still think I don't think that logic is going to work. I think people are going to get burned in one spot and say, "Well, I'd rather just stick to AAA games." If they keep getting burned, I understand what you're saying, because you can go get a review of a AAA. Some of these mobile games you can't find a review for it. Like you can't find to make sure that you don't get stuck with a bad game. And you probably won't have that problem with the Switch because you'll have less. But some of the other games you can't really do that to make sure that this is kind of what you want before you do that.
Right. Well, Nintendo can easily stream the quality of the game and say, no, we don't, whatever. But also, there's enough footage out here of the game because that's what we do with these AAA games. We watch them. We be like, oh, that looks good to me. That plays. I like how it looks, how it plays. And then we make our verdict off of what we watch, not what we played. So as long as I can see the game and get an idea of how it's supposed to play or how they're playing it, I'm fine. Now, if I'm just going in dark and have no way of actually seeing the game run, yeah. But some of these games, is plenty of footage out on YouTube. You can Google it and watch people playing the game and realize, oh, I think that's cool. Because that's what we're doing now. I mean, we watch Battlefield. We watch Call of Duty. We watch Tekken 7 before we bought it. We watched it being played. We didn't know how it was going to play. So I feel like the same could be said for these mobile titles. You can quickly see which ones you don't want to buy, in my opinion.
That's true. I want to add that on Steam, there's a lot of hidden gems, and there's a lot of hidden gems on these mobile games too. I mentioned a game earlier called Dirty Buns, been in beta for about 2 years. And then there's another game I saw Nia playing last night called Gigantic. Whenever you get a chance, check that out. Gigantic. It's a lot of hidden games out there that need some recognition. I mean, it ain't always got to be Street Fighter, Resident Evils, and all them type of games. PUBG is coming to the that's Player Unknown Battlegrounds. It's been on PC for a while. It's coming to the Xbox One. So a lot of these games just need some recognition, man. We don't always have to play the same old tried and true games. Some of these games that these develop, that's why I was saying that it can also benefit these developers because they can, unearth some diamonds. You know what I mean? Games that we would probably never even think about. So,
right, and that, so like games like Gun War, SWAT, Terrorist Strike, like these, dude, I'm telling you, man, there's some. And you can watch YouTube videos of them just like we do with the stuff. It literally out minus the touchscreen controls, the game looked dope. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, man, it's like I keep saying, K-Bum, there's some gems out here, dude, that I did not realize was there that looked like, dude, go look up, what's the name of this game? Gun War, SWAT, Terrorist Strike. Look it up. It's
Silly
dope,
sounding
and
name.
it got high reviews too.
I don't deny that, but I also want to second that there are some good games out there, some amazing games on the PSN and Xbox Live Network that are not being bought because of people, just because it's arcade or whatever, and people don't even take the time to research it.
True.
I'll put myself in that group. That I don't spend a lot of time looking at those arcade games. Only
You know
the
why?
one now,
Okay,
even the ones I get free,
you know why?
I don't really play as much.
You know why though? Because you're playing on the PlayStation and you have a game that's in that genre that you already playing, like Overwatch and Call of Duty and Battlefield, and you got games that scratches that itch. You don't have to dredge through these titles to scratch an itch that's not on your platform because it's on your platform. The reason it will be beneficial for the Switch is because Nintendo's having a hard time getting third party to bring those titles to that platform. So I might spend more time in my eShop looking through first person or third person shooters, trying to scratch an itch that is not being fulfilled on this platform. So I think you're talking from a person in privilege, where I'm talking from a person who, well, I have the option to do what you do too because I have them platforms. But if I was just a Switch or Nintendo owner, I don't have that privilege. See what I mean? So I don't have the privilege of a Call of Duty. I don't have the privilege of Battlefield. I don't have the privilege of Overwatch. I don't have the privilege of Street Fighters and this and that and the third. So if it ain't being supplied to me by Nintendo first party, then this will be a viable option for me to scratch those itches that won't come through third party and through Nintendo. So to me, that's why I said for Nintendo and the Switch and that mobility of the Switch, that ability to take it with you on the go, these games could be a gold mine because it alleviates the concern about third party because there's something there that can scratch that itch. And there's actually some quality stuff there that can scratch the itch if Nintendo put more focus on those guys who has those first party, them FPSs and those third over the shoulder shooters, everything that we want, they have it in abundance. It just ain't EA. It ain't Activision. It ain't Bethesda, but it's there and it's good. That's all I'm saying. So to me, you right, but you're talking from the position of a person in privilege. I'm trying to talk about from a person what I do, but some of us don't have that privilege because all we got is Nintendo devices.
I feel that's a very good counter argument.
I want to take a poll and see how many people who own multiple consoles, because I think Nintendo falls in that trap too. Oh, they only have our console, so they want Skyrim. No, bro, we already played Skyrim. But that's a tangent.
Right. And Keith, you brought up a good point in the voice chat. I mean, in the live chat, Shinnin. Like fast racing Neo or fast RMX. Like, dude, that's a very unknown company, direct to the Switch, and that game is killer. It's a dope game for only $20, but it's equivalent to Wipeout, F-Zero. It ain't better than F-Zero, but it ain't no slouch to F-Zero. It's just as good. And here it was. It's a company that's not known, that's not big. And I'm pretty sure there's a plethora of first-person shooters and third-person shooters and action adventures and MMOs and role-playing games that has Shinnin-like developers right there on mobile devices that Nintendo can bring to the Switch and have a freaking gold mine. Like, you don't never have, forget you, EA. I got 3 other developers who got a game that's can do what your game is doing. We go right there and actually charge our fans cheaper to get it. I think it'd be smart.
So Cornelius in the chat, he actually was talking about Fast RMX, but he didn't know the developer. So I'm taking half credit. Cornelius, how about that? It's my credit.
My bad, because I didn't go farther up to see that you said something. But yeah, Keith did name the actual developer, Shannon. Anyway, so that was just an interesting topic. Let us know what y'all think in the comments section. Is mobile games Nintendo's treasure trove? Could Nintendo turn a obscure, heavily overlooked area in gaming, in console gaming, and make that very profitable for the Switch? I, for one, think they can. I think this might be the better option than pursuing third party. Also, these games are new and different, and they don't have the track record and the familiarity that all these other games have. And it gives you a game that the other companies don't have. So I think Nintendo will be wise to pursue some of these quality mobile games like Implosion, bring more of those type of games to the, and I think that'll do good things for the platform. That's my opinion. Okay, Keith, what you think? Final words on that, then we move on.
Oh yeah, I agree. I just hope that the word gets out. I hope somebody could hear this podcast and be like, "Hey, Nintendo, guess what we heard? You should invest in mobile games and get more games like Implosion." So yeah, I definitely agree.
K Bomb, final words before we move on to this next topic.
No, we good.
All right. So, okay, let's get to the main topic. Then there's one more topic after this. So, um, unless you've been living under the rock like Patrick and SpongeBob SquarePants, um, the Nintendo mobile app, online app, has been released. I think they released it 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think it was yesterday they released it, or Tuesday, one of the two. But anyway, so a lot of the reviews are starting to come in about this online app service on your phone, and it's not good. First of all, the app itself is, um, in my opinion, overkill. It should be optional. It should not be mandatory, but Nintendo is making it mandatory. I think that this stuff should be on the actual device itself, not forcing you to use your phone. But on top of that, you are not allowed to leave the app, because if you leave the app, it automatically cuts you out of the session that you're in and the voice chat that you're enjoying with friends. You are automatically cut out until you reopen that app. Also, you cannot allow your phone to go into sleep mode or you will be cut out. Also, the audio from the game itself will not be filtered through the app. If you want to enjoy the audio from the game and voice chat at the same time, you will have to go buy a situation like the Ori headphone set and hook both the Switch and merge it with the audio from your phone into one headset to enjoy both gameplay, volume, and sound with voice chat. All this is what Nintendo has offered us for a online voice chat solution. So, K-Bone 20, what is your thoughts from a distance? What are you thinking about this, man?
Man, why are you even starting with me first?
Okay, well, Keith, let's go, Keith. Then, but I wanted you to get yours out. But anyway,
you want I can get it out. You want me to get it out?
No. I'm gonna go with Keith. First.
Yeah, I don't talk on.
Yeah, just sit back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so have you downloaded the app yet, Keith?
Yeah, I downloaded it the moment I found out that it was available. But of course, at that time, you couldn't do anything with it because the service hadn't went online.
Right.
But yeah, I downloaded it. The app, huh?
Have you went and made any complaints, any feedback complaints yet?
I have not. I just been kind of listening to everybody, trying to hear the both sides of the fence from people who are agreeing and disagreeing.
I've actually made 2 complaints.
You send it to the Twitter?
Lengthy. Yeah, they got to where you can go in and actually, I'm going to it now. Is a option under there that's called feedback, and you can give feedback on the invitation function. You can give feedback on the voice chat quality, feedback on the voice chat function, feedback on the function to enhance gameplay, feedback for battery life, and other features you would like to see. All that you can actually click on it and then give your thoughts on what you would like to see. So I just been clicking on each one and just fussing. Just I kid you not, man. I just click. I'm talking about Nintendo. What's your problem? Y'all need to make this available on the actual device itself. No, nobody wants this. This should not be mandatory. This should not be forced on us. And I just keep on doing it. I'm gonna do another one. I'll probably do 4 or 5 more. I'm just gonna keep fussing. I feel like everybody should just keep overloading them with our frustration about how silly this is. But go ahead, Keith. Go ahead. I ain't meant to.
No, I didn't even know that there was an option to do feedback. I'm glad you said something. Now I'm gonna go in there. Of course, I can't make no comments on the quality of the voice chat because haven't used it yet. But the app itself, it's a tragedy. It is the fact that you have to use this, and you've already brought it up. The fact that you have to, when you're using the app, when you do use voice app, you have to keep it on, and that's gonna drain your battery. And I was watching a video about Terrell, and he was like, before we try to get it on the console itself, let's make sure the app is good. And I agree with that. So I'm definitely gonna be sending my feedback. It's just so unnecessary, man. I'm not even gonna say the fact that it's 2017, but it's just so unnecessary to go through all these hoops and loops and loop-de-loops for something that people have been doing for a long time. Sometimes Nintendo, you don't always have to be so different for something so simple. We love your games, we love what you do with your games, but the other features, you can take cues from other people and actually use what they use. You know what I mean? We saw that picture. We was sharing it in the group chat that we got going about having how all those chords and stuff like that, and it looks ridiculous. You know, and I made a joke about somebody could get electrocuted, but just think about it though. If your phone is dying fast, what are you going to do? You're going to put it on the charger, and something could backfire. And you know what I'm saying, you trying to talk and have fun, you might mess around and start a fire. trying to have voice chat with the Nintendo Switch. It's unnecessary. I understand that they have to find a way to remedy the fact that people are going to be taking it on the go. I get that, but there's an example with the Vita, and I think somebody said the 3DS has voice chat built into it, and you don't need all this extra stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out why Nintendo is going through all of this. Cornelia said reinvent the wheel. I don't know why. It's just very, very unnecessary, and it's a turnoff for people. People, you know, were probably looking at the Switch like, yeah, I'm gonna get one, play with my friends, voice chat, yada yada yada, and they're like, I gotta do this. Is this even worth $20? So I just think it's unnecessary.
Yeah. D2K, since you in, what's up, bro?
What's going on?
I was waiting on D2K to get here.
First question, D2K, have you seen Spider-Man yet?
Not yet. I'm hoping to see it this weekend.
Okay.
I did see Wonder Woman though.
You did see Wonder Woman. Okay, I seen that one. Okay. All right, let's get back to the topic. So go ahead and share your thoughts on the feedback that you are hearing. I doubt you have downloaded the app because you don't have a Switch, so I don't see no need for you to download it. But based on what you've been hearing, what's your thoughts, man?
Well, we kind of already talked about this before, about how superfluous this whole app is, and just like Keith just got through saying, is that, you know, all this could have been put into the actual device itself, and it wouldn't have been an issue. There's no logical reason for this that they can explain to me I'm pretty sure that there's something that benefits them on the back end is why they're doing this, but they don't want to come out and say that because it will sound really shady to say that we're doing this to benefit us and at the expense of the consumer. So they have to come out and lie and say things like this is a more robust option for the consumers and all kinds of other big fancy words that don't mean anything. But it's silly, but it's what Nintendo does. Nintendo does silly things. They try to reinvent the wheel. They try to fit square pegs into round holes. They try to find solutions to problems that don't exist, and that's become their MO. So this is the type of stuff they've done in the past 10 years. They're going to keep doing it. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you just have to get used to it and kind of accept it, really. I mean, you only have two options. Either you gather together in mass, I'm speaking to Nintendo fans out there, either you gather together in mass and say, no, this is completely unacceptable. You need to fix this now or we walk. Or you say, that's Nintendo. I'll just accept it and enjoy my games. Those are only two options, really, you have.
I hope they band together.
What was his name? Dennis Green, the coach of the Cardinals. When he came out and said, "We are who we thought they were." That's how I feel about this app. This app is what we thought it was going to be when we said it from the very beginning. When we saw the layout of the controller, of the headset, plugging into this, plugging into the phone. It's even actually a little worse with the fact that you have to keep the screen open. It doesn't even go to landscape mode. It only does portrait view. So it's just it definitely feels rushed, and it doesn't feel it doesn't have that Nintendo polish to it. I don't know. I don't know. It's unlike Nintendo to put forth efforts like this. And I know they're trying to do things, but at a certain point, we're going to have to look back and realize that this entire Switch thing has been rushed. From even though they pushed it back, how it was released, what came with it, and the games and the online has been delayed several times, and then the headset set up and then the apps. It just is un-Nintendo like, and I really hope it doesn't backfire on them. Happily, they're still selling, and they're still having to do those lottery tickets in Japan for people who try to get the Switch. So that's still good news, but this is similar to the PS3 when it came out, how it fumbled and tripped over itself when it came out. Not saying that it can't regain its own legs and get its stride, but definitely fumbling over itself. Like I said, very similar to the launch of the PS3, where it did not launch as well and had a lot of issues, and people couldn't program for it, and blase. And so, not out of the round, Nintendo can't bounce back. Zelda still showed that, the system has some potential and to produce great games, which was backed up by the release of Mario Kart, re-release of Mario Kart, which again sold a couple mil, something like that. And so there is potential there, but Nintendo definitely has not put their best foot forward for this effort. And so I would love to see them get back on track and get back to producing quality everything like they always do. And shout out to Cornelius for getting the reference and getting the exact team that Dennis Green was talking about. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Cornelius.
Before you go, level, because I know you finna tear him up. Maybe, I don't know. No, it's so funny because I remember when they announced the app and all this stuff, and the large portion of Nintendo fans are like, let's just wait and see and wait and see. Well, we waited, we saw, and it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. So that's all I wanted to say.
I'm gonna say I was one of the ones who was saying let's wait before we.
Oh yes, you was. I remember that.
Yes, I was. I'll be the first one.
Yes, you
say
were.
now.
Far be it for us to say we told you so, but we told you so.
I didn't. Wait a minute. First of all, let's get context to what I was saying. All I was saying before saying it is trash, let's actually experience it and see that it is trash to say that it's trash. It is trash. In the current state that it is, it's trash.
So if you see a garbage can, if you see a garbage can overflowing with garbage, you have to actually smell the garbage before you admit that it's garbage. Can't the eye test work? I don't need to go and sniff it. I know it's garbage. Now we done sniffed it, and now we can. Oh, that's definitely garbage.
I'm just saying. I know that we tend to sometimes jump the gun, like we did with the whole. If Nintendo do a hybrid system, that's stupid. Well, it's not. Turned out not to be stupid.
That's that's an objective term, but continue.
Yeah, so that's what I meant when I was saying let's hold. But you're right, D2K. You smelt the stench from months ago. I smelt the stench 2 days ago. Either way it go, brother, we both smell the stench. It's garbage. Now the question is, it stinks. It's really funky in here. So the question become: did Nintendo was this an oversight? Are they trying to play catch up? Or like what K-Bub saying is this rush? Is this a testament to something being rushed? Or was this just Nintendo don't know what they're doing? Or was it an oversight and they tried to fix something they never planned on doing in the first place?
It's possible that that last line you said that is definitely a possibility, but I don't even think that they would be that obtuse to have not planned to have online at all. I think that what K-Bomb is saying is true, is that we've already said this a million times, is that the Switch is rushed. I think the Switch came out 1 year too soon. I think that they just looked at the sales of the Wii U or lack thereof and said we cannot go another full year with this negativity on us and then go into the launch of the Switch. It may be too little too late, regardless of what the Switch is. I mean, even if the Switch was better than it is, it might have been, they might have caused irreparable damage to their brand. So they needed to get something going positive right away. So they said, well, let's release the Switch in 2017 rather than in early 2017 rather than in the fall, or maybe 2018. And, maybe we can just catch people off guard. Maybe we can catch fire like the Wii, and then we can ride, the success of that, into the sunset. But, it did catch fire at the beginning, but, it's not as hot as it was at the beginning for a lot of reasons. A lot of it because people can't get their hands on it because of other reasons that have nothing to do with them. It has to do with just actual pieces that are being manufactured for the console are not available. But, any console is going to start to, drop off significantly after the launch, after the newness wears off and after the new car smell has been used up. And then people started looking around and say, okay, what do I really have here? That happens with every console. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's usually maybe 12 to 18 months after launch where it really picks up the momentum that is going to carry it throughout the rest of its life cycle. That's when you start to see the real big heavyweight stuff coming in back to back to back. So I think that this console came out too early, and we're seeing so many different pieces of why it came out too early, because things are just not ready yet. If they had waited until this fall, the online situation probably would have been set up. You would have had a lot of great games to be available at launch, and it would have just been huge. But because they did it the way they did it, yeah, it was good, but now you have problems that are kind of choking out the goodness that you had up to this point. So, it's
Hello.
Yeah, okay, it froze. I didn't know if it was on my end or who end.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Um, I guess it was on D2K end, so we wait till we jump back in. But I'm gonna say this. I feel like I do agree that D2K making some good points. I do feel like Nintendo was in a position where they had to do something. They had to do it. They couldn't wait another year. They couldn't do another year of the Wii U. They couldn't do another year of that would did some true damage to the brand. Um, but I still feel like that this online situation still just doesn't make any sense, even with the rush part. This seems like an easy fix. All you have to do is take this same app and put it on your system, put it on the device, and let you go through Bluetooth to hook up to it. This seems like that's an easy fix to me. I don't understand. So, what is it that's causing them not to want to put it on the device itself, which I believe eventually, through complaints and the frustration of the fan base, Nintendo is going to put this app on that device at some point. But what is causing them not to do it? That's my thing. Like, what is the reason they are so hard and so intentionally trying to avoid putting this on the app, on the app on the actual device?
it might have something to do with DNA. There might be something that they're trying to set up with them that's not ready yet, and they don't want to mess that up by putting this app on the phone. And this whole app is something they just made up, as a makeshift thing to supplement until whatever they have, the real online system is ready. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I don't think Nintendo was that forward thinking, but that's a possibility that they could possibly have a real online system that something happened and they had a huge setback and they put them back and they had to do something because they knew they had Splatoon coming out and other games they're going to new voice chat. So we got to do something. So they threw this together in the last minute. So, well, here, we'll try this for a little while. Because if they do come out with a real online service at some point and it works just like everybody else's online service, people are going to forget about what's happening right now real quick. So, it's not going to be a big deal. If you get, let's say if this holiday season, they announce a new game that's coming out exclusive to the Switch that uses voice chat, and they say, oh, by the way, now we have the real online. This is an app that's on the actual console and it's set up perfectly, and you can go everywhere and play it on the go and do all the things you got to do. People aren't going to be caring about what's going on right now. They'll be long forgotten. So let's see what, I'll give them that caveat to say that if there's something that went wrong behind the scenes with their real online system, then this would make sense. But if they don't have that, this is brick stupid.
Right, and I'm gonna let
wait, hold up. Did he say bricks stupid?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
Okay, so, and I'm gonna let Keith jump in here, and then K-Bum, if you want to jump in, feel free. But I look at the Wii U, right? The Wii U had 2 gigs of RAM, right? And it had, not only did it have voice chat, it had a second screen running video on it. It had the Miiverse, which I believe, I'm gonna say this, I believe that Nintendo is trying some type of way to integrate another style or type of Miiverse, and this app has something to do with that. And it's kind of going to what you're saying, D2K. I believe that Nintendo is trying to make this app the new Miiverse. it's a new approach to Miiverse, and they trying to make it all on your phone and trying to put all of it in that app, which I think is stupid. They should let the app be what it is and do all the stuff they want to do with the app, but put the actual voice chat on the actual device and let it work in tandem with the app on your phone. But I think the app real
isn't what that stupid Mitomo was supposed to be?
What happened to that?
Yeah, what happened to that?
Y'all funny, man.
I thought Mitomo. So I guess I'm missing something with Mitomo. I thought it was just a game. I don't know.
Yeah, I did
It
too.
was a social media thing, right?
I thought it was supposed to be like a social. I thought it was supposed to be like a Miiverse type thing for your for anybody for this cell phone so anybody can. It wasn't just if you had a Wii U, you can talk to people who have Nintendo stuff, related stuff on any phone. I thought that's what it was for. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, I was just at work looking at it and playing around with it. I was like, man, Nintendo is trying to make this their new version of Miiverse. It's not going to be called Miiverse, but it's going to do everything that Miiverse was doing. It's going to be all up under this app. But I don't get why they're trying to force the voice chat in it. It don't make sense. So, but like I said, when you look at the 3DS has voice chat, the DS has voice chat, the Vita has voice chat, the Wii U with 2 gigs has voice chat, and video chat, whatever that was. That makes no sense for a device that has way more capabilities and don't have much on it right now. Like, look at the Switch. There's nothing outside of playing games on the thing. So I don't understand what would be so hard to get voice chat running through the device with Bluetooth and all the stuff that it should have like a phone.
Look, it could be a battery issue too. I mean, that app might drain a lot of the power reserves of the actual console, and it's tenuous at best as it is. What battery life that you have, so that's probably one of the main reasons why they took it off there. Is that we don't need to will it down even further by putting this app on there. We can just have them put it on their phone instead, and that way they can disperse the power drain with 2 devices instead of it happening just one.
Second, it could be a OS issue too. It could slow down the OS because Level knows, but the Switch is fast. Like you turn that thing on, it's fast. It boots up your game instantly, mainly because it's in sleep mode. But they probably don't want it because it's another additional thing that they got to run. Plus, they're still trying to get a lot of other type of games, and like D2K said, let's split up the power draw here. I'm sitting there listening to you guys, and y'all going back to what y'all was saying about the Switch came out too early, and I'm laughing to myself because you look at the Wii U. You said they couldn't last another year with the Wii U, and the Switch came out too early. But then when you look at the Switch games, all they releasing are Wii U games. I just thought that was funny.
Well, I mean, that plays into it because that shows that games that would basically are not ready, and so they have to have something to fill that voice. They basically say, well, let's bring Mario Kart back, let's bring Splatoon back, let's bring this game and this game back, because of games that they would have had ready for a launch if this game was coming out this fall were not ready yet. Mario's not ready yet, and Pokemon's not ready yet, and if there's a Smash Bros coming, that's not ready yet, and I know Metroid's way off in the future. So, that's it's all supplementary stopgap stuff.
So let's do this, man. So what do we feel like they need to do? Okay, let's look at it like this. The app is what it is, like you said, D2K. Let's accept the app, right? So we're going to accept the app, but we want to fix it. What do we need to do? What does Nintendo need to do to fix this app? If they're not going to put it on the device, what do they need to do to make this app acceptable and work better for the consumer? Start with Keith Norris, then D2K, then K-Ball 20.
Okay. Well, one, they need to allow us to turn our screens off. If you know anything about cell phones, your backlight on your screen kills your battery. So if I'm trying to use this thing to talk to my friends while playing games and I have to keep my screen on, it's going to be a very short session. Another thing is, oh man, I was going to say don't make it mandatory, but we have to since you said we accepted it. I don't know. That's the one thing that I could think of. You can skip me, and I can think of some more stuff when you come back to me.
Okay, D2K.
I think they just need to bag it. I mean, I can't. I mean, you know, we already said the things that they need to do to fix it. I mean, it's pretty obvious, and they just need to allow you to do the things that you're supposed to do. I mean, I've heard that there are other apps that you can basically do the same thing. I mean, you can use Skype and do the same thing. You can use Discord and do the same thing, and those things are a lot better and have a lot more options. And a lot of people are probably going to wind up using those things anyway instead of this stupid app. So, I think they should just bag it really and just say and come out and say we made a mistake, and say that there are other options out there that you can use because, you know, I mean, if I had a Switch, there's no way in the world that I'll be doing. I'm not buying a squid-looking splitter and all this. This is stupid, man. It's stupid. I'm not doing that. You know, there's no reason to do that at all.
Go ahead, K.
So you asking me what kind of lipstick I should put on this pig?
Yeah,
wow.
basically.
Wow.
Red has always been my favorite. Okay.
It's already red and black.
Man. So definitely you have to fix the some of the nuances that people hate. I mean, the app is going to ride for a while, so they're going to be, even if they do switch it up eventually, it's going to be like this for a good little minute. And so you have to fix the battery issue. I'm sorry, you can't. You're draining people's batteries by allowing it to stay woke the entire time. Screens stay open. You got to allow it to do portrait mode. And like everyone already said, would you really want to say just scrap it? Not even scrap it, but you know, I heard that that Discord actually will want to communicate with Nintendo. I actually heard that. I read that somewhere on Twitter. The Discord is actually trying to reach out to Nintendo.
Yeah, they want to make an app for the Switch.
Yeah, and so you know, I don't know.
I got something.
I don't know what kind of lipstick to put on this page. Just take the battery piece out of it, put it in portrait mode, and let the people complain about it because it ain't gonna make it that much better.
I got something. I thought about it. See, when you first asked the question, I was thinking about online, but how about this? How about this app completely be complementary to your system? Like it's completely linked to your system. So that means that the eShop is available on the Switch app, online app or whatever. And all the little functions and nuances that you would normally have to log onto your system to do that you can do from your phone. It would be cool if you could just, you know, send messages to your friends. Like if you can get on your app and see that they're in the game of Splatoon, you're like, hey, I'm on my way home. I'm finna go play, yada yada yada. And you can send a message and they can see it. They're like, oh man, Keith on his way home. We've already been playing Splatoon, yada yada yada. So I think it should be like things like that that actually complement the app, and also just take cues from other people. Like there's the PlayStation app. I used to have it on my phone. I had my PS3, and I could do some of those things that I just mentioned. I have the Xbox app on my phone right now simply because of Windows 10, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do on this app. I would just take a look at what other people are doing with their apps and try to incorporate some of what they're doing into your app.
Wait. Are you actually telling them to look at what people are already doing and follow them?
Yes.
Blasphemy.
Hey, into the Miiverse thing, like I don't know why they scrapped it, and I don't know why the Miiverse wasn't a standalone app a long time ago. why don't wait now to do it? But Miiverse should have been a standalone app. I was waiting on Nintendo. I actually think when I still had my Twitter, I think I tweeted that Miiverse should be standalone because it's an actual good app, a social media that they actually made that people actually use, that you can actually talk to actual real gamers who are actually playing specific games and actually communicate with them through the Miiverse. But it's Nintendo, they get a good idea and then they's like, yep, we don't want to do that no more. Let's scrap it.
Yes, that kind of reminds me of what Nintendo Land could have been, what I thought it was going to be, of this huge park that would just keep expanding and growing as new games were added to it, and your Mii's are walking around, and you can go and talk to other people's Mii's. You can say, hey, let's go play Mario Kart, let's go play Splatoon, and you go over to where it is and you jump in there and you start playing. That stuff would have been really cool to do. I don't know how realistic that could have been to do that with servers and stuff like that, but I thought that's what they were going to do. I mean, sometimes it seems like Nintendo has ideas that are way too ambitious for what they're willing to do or what is even possible to do. But the problem is that they don't keep those ideas in house. They let us find out about those ideas, or they just put those ideas out there incomplete. And then when they don't follow through, the people are sitting there scratching their heads like, what's next?
Let me ask this. Now that Nintendo is going for pay for online, does that mean games like Splatoon and Mario Kart are locked? All online aspect is locked behind the paywall now, or are they making occasions for those games, since those are online dominated games? Like, are they allowing play online with Splatoon, even though you don't pay for the online service? I thought they said they was gonna do something like that, to where you won't.
But then you're just hurting third party. Then if you do that,
Huh?
I said if they unlock Arms and Splatoon and allow them to be played online without the paywall, but a third party app, a third party game has to go through the paywall in order to be played online, then you're just hurting third party.
Well,
What I'm
let's assume
saying,
that they're
like,
there.
yeah, I'm saying some games, like, okay, like Division on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC. Well, we don't have to add PC, but Division, if you didn't have online, there was no point in buying the Division because the whole game was online.
Right.
I think Nintendo made mention. If somebody know what I'm talking about in the that's listening, chime in the live chat to correct me if I'm off. I thought they made a statement like there will be some provision made for those who want to play Splatoon, the online portion of Splatoon, who might opt out of buying the online services. But that won't work for all games that play on online, but certain games that are dominated by online that is made by first party Nintendo, I think you will still be able to access certain aspects of that online. Maybe not everything, but certain aspects you'll still be able to do. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if anybody remember that. Because the reason I'm asking the question is, if something like what's that you just brought up, K Bomb, the group that want to make an app for the Switch,
Discord.
Discord is making itself available to Nintendo fans, and Nintendo is allowing a game like Splatoon to be played online even without purchasing the service. That's what people gonna do. So, but I distinctly remember Nintendo saying something like that. I just can't remember fully. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but go ahead. Anybody want to add to that?
Man, I don't know.
It makes no sense, man. I mean, I'm glad that it's free. Hopefully,
For
Nintendo,
now.
yeah, for now. Hopefully Nintendo address all these issues prior to trying to charge us the $20. But as it stands at this moment, yeah, D2K right on the money. It stinks. It's a trash can that's been sitting in the sun for a long time, and even flies don't want to mess with it. That's how bad it is, man. This is horrible. Like, you can't close your phone. you can't open up other apps while this app is running. Meaning, Nintendo just basically wants to uh imprison your phone for until you're done playing online. It's like, dude, you're not gonna hijack my phone for 3-4 hours. I can't do nothing else. That makes no sense. Like, how can Facebook, Twitter, Google Hangout, uh, all these different apps can close and let you access another app while maintaining. You can even talk on your phone and open up another app while you're talking to somebody on your actual. How is Nintendo not able to add these features in? That makes no sense to me. It just speaks to an aloof-minded company that knows how to do great things, and then as soon as they do something great, it's like they got to give you something stupid just to be who they are. Okay, we did this great thing. Well, we can't continue being great. We got to do something stupid, or we're not Nintendo. So that's
pretty much
how it seems to me, man.
If we continue to be this great, they're gonna always expect this.
There you go. There you go.
Disappoint them now. They got a disappoint button. Disappoint them now. Here's the button.
They have to keep it that disappointment balance in check. You know, I mean, it's to me, it's. We've heard this thrown around many times before, and a lot of people just dismiss it as hate from people who hate Nintendo or whatever. But their decision-making process and their policies and the way they go about doing things and stuff like this situation specifically speak volumes about where this company really should be, and they really should just be a third party.
Wait a minute now. Hold on.
Even go there.
Hold on. Let's not do that.
Well, the reason being is that when it comes to games, game design, art style, concept, quality, substance, imagination, creativity, there's no one, whether you're a Nintendo fan, whether you're a Microsoft fan, whether you're a Sony fan, that complains about any of that. Nobody complains about Nintendo's games at all. That is the one thing that from the time that they started making consoles in the 70s to right now that has remained constant. You cannot find one point in history where Nintendo slacked off in making quality games.
Star Fox.
For a long extended period of time. But you know what? The game itself was fine. It was the controls being jammed into it that nobody asked for that messed up the game. If they let you use a regular controller, it would have been fine. It wasn't Star Fox Zero. There was nothing wrong with the game itself. It was just the fact that they tacked on controllers to justify the Wii U gamepad. If they were allowed you to use your Pro controller, Star Fox Zero would have done a lot better.
It'll be re-released.
Getting back to my point, and they should re-release it on the Switch. They're rebooting everything else.
I definitely buy it.
Yeah, but the problems with Nintendo's history have always been with hardware. Always. They've done innovative things with hardware, but they've made more mistakes, devastating mistakes with hardware. And you can tell by their actions and their attitudes in their company goals that they really don't want to make hardware anymore. They really don't. They feel like they have to, but they really don't want to do that. And I think that the Switch is a device that is a transitional device to first transition them out of the traditional home console market to where people get comfortable playing portable games. And when they just have a portable machine, people say, whatever, big deal. I'm used to doing this anyway. And at some point, they might say, you know what? Let's just stop making hardware, because Nintendo started off as a third party. Think about how much more money, way more money they could make as a third party as they're making right now with no losses at all. Putting their games on Microsoft's consoles, putting their games on Sony's consoles, putting their games on PC, they would make billions of dollars with zero loss.
D2K, I refuse to accept your facts.
All right, Trump.
All I see is steaming nostrils and pitchforks and D2K is Frankenstein standing up there where everybody like burn them at the stake. That's all I see. You make some valid points. I'll be honest, I would hate to see Nintendo as a fan. I would hate to see Nintendo exit making devices. It's just something about buying a Nintendo device that does something for me. But you do make some valid points. I don't agree, but I can't disagree with, like Keith said, I refuse to agree with your good points.
Don't bother me with the facts.
I don't want to hear it.
Let's move on to this last topic and let's get out of here. I thought this was interesting. I don't know if you guys seen this and even remember this game. I'm pretty sure y'all do. Y'all old school like me. Do y'all remember a game called Street Fighters EX?
I remember hearing that name.
Yes.
Did you K-Bummer, I'm pretty sure you heard of it, right?
Nah, man, I'm messing with Street Fighter.
I can't believe it was PlayStation. Anyway.
And it's still Street Fighter.
But it's Street Fighters EX. It plays like Tekken. It's like Tekken. But it's with Street Fighters characters.
It's a polygon-based Street Fighter game, basically.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's the first polygon-based Street Fighter.
Look up, if you can, K-Bum and Keith Norris. I don't know if D2K's seen this, if you want to look it up too. Street Fighters EX Prank.
What's that?
EX who?
Street Fighters EX Prank.
Prank?
Yes, Prank. I want y'all to see it because then you understand why I want to talk about this. This was they did this game and it was supposed to be a prank, but it's turning out to be a legit game that started out as a prank or it was a prank, but they're bringing it. It looked like they might be bringing it back.
So you're talking about the Street Fighter EX4 prank? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. It's made by, I can't say that, ARIKA. How you say that? Arika? Is that how you say that? Arikas? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, they made this game. I was a big fan of Street Fighters EX. And if they bring this game back, I'm telling you, dude, this would be
what I'm looking at right now look kind of lit.
Yeah, this actually looks better than Tekken. Graphically, graphically.
Well, I won't go that far. Well, I don't know. This look real good. This looks really good. This is legit. This is a legit game. This is way too much work. If somebody did this for April Fool's prank, they need to be slapped because you don't put this much work into something that's a spoof. You know.
Well, I think it's been confirmed to be actually true. It's a real game in development, and they don't know.
This look good.
Come out. They don't know if it need like Kickstarter support or whatnot. But I was curious what y'all thought about it, man, and I didn't know if y'all remembered the old Street Fighter EX series.
This will look way better than that. I know that's for sure. The Street Fighter EX was, graphically it was pretty bad. But this looks really good. This looks somewhere in between Tekken and the new King of the Fighters 14 or 15 or whatever. I'm not sure where they at, the number they're at. But graphically, looks
cool.
Graphically, it's in between those two.
Yeah,
this looks good.
Yeah, it looks like it's too much. It's too much put into it for it to be just an April Fool's joke.
All right, so that was a Street Fighter EX 3. Oh, PlayStation 2. Okay. Oh man, they look
Somebody,
good.
somebody, if this is an actual joke, then it's a really cruel joke. I would definitely get my whole allowance for this game to be 1,000% legit. I second that emotion.
Yeah. Dude said, yeah, he said he's contemplating on doing the crowdfunding for it.
Yeah. Looks good, man.
Yeah, it
Looks
looks
freaking
legit.
good. It looks. I saw this the other day, and I was like, "What is this?" I ain't know. I kind of recognized it, but it wasn't. It didn't have it under the name of Street Fighters. It had it on another name. But as I was watching, I was like, "I know these characters. I just don't know. I can't remember where I know these characters from." And then,
according to Maximilian, dude, he says it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
So he says it's real, and it probably is real because he's up on the fighting game stuff.
And since you in D2K, what you think about the Dragon Ball Z fighters?
Man, I can't wait for that. I'm signing up for the beta on that as soon as possible. I cannot wait. That's going to be the best Dragon Ball game ever.
D2K, I got a question for you. Do you think Nintendo fans should have to buy Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 before they can get the Fighter Z? Do you think that's fair? I'm actually joking, but
are you asking me?
I'm asking whoever.
Is that what's happening?
Dude said that Nintendo fans need to focus on Xenoverse 2 before they think about bringing over Fighter Z. Like, seriously?
Do I think it's fair? Well, based off of the fact that third parties don't make money on Nintendo consoles anyway, I would say yes. I think it sucks that if you're a Nintendo fan that you have to do that, but from their standpoint, yes, because if you have to remember, the Xenoverse 2 has already been out for over a year, so if they really want this game, even they already committed to release this game from the Switch, so they can't stop it now. They could, but what would be the point? They've already developed it and whatnot. So if you're not going to show that you can buy this game for the Switch, because everybody keeps saying, I've heard people say, I'm not going to buy it for anything else because I heard it was coming out for the Switch. I've heard people say that. So if that's the case, then show me. If you want this game so bad, then show me that you want it and buy it for the Switch, because you don't have it already. That's what you say. So if you don't have it already, then when it comes out for the Switch, buy it. And if you go out and buy it and it sells like maybe, I can't see it doing $1 million, but if say they do like 500 to 700,000, then okay, then go ahead and bring over Dragon Ball Fighters, because obviously the Switch can run it. It's not a big deal at all. It's that type of game can easily run on the Switch. But from their standpoint, I can understand them saying that. That makes sense.
I think it's a little insensitive though, because there's two different types of games though. There's two different types of fighters.
Well,
it's not what I mean. It doesn't really make any difference. It's the same type of money.
I think where the person was coming from was the fact. Now, there's 2 points to this. The developer of the game, said if enough interest is shown from Switch fan base or the Nintendo fan base, they will consider porting the game over. Now, from what I understand, a lot of support was shown from the fan base. It was a lot of petitions and folks adding her and Twitter and all that, a whole bunch of people. So then she came out and she said, or he or she, I think it was a she, said that Nintendo fan base should focus on the Xenoverse 2 before, right now, because that's what's coming next. Now, from a business position, because that game was already in development, it makes sense for her or him or whoever it was, I thought it was her, to push Dragon Ball, I think Xenoverse, rather than talk about a game that's coming next year. When that
looks
game,
way better.
Right. where this game is coming this year. Well, Xenoverse is coming this year. Dragon Ball Fighter is coming sometime next year. So it makes sense from a business point to keep the Nintendo fan base mind on Xenoverse rather than Dragon Ball Z Fighter.
But this goes back
because if they said, "Oh, it's definitely coming to Switch next year," people ain't messing with those Xenoverse 2.
All the sales. That's gonna kill them.
But
They have to make it seem like it's
Nobody
not
buy
gonna
that.
come, and then people buy Xenoverse 2 because they don't feel like it's gonna come. Like, well, we might as well buy this since we're not getting that. And then they can say, oh yeah, by the way, once they reach their saturation point where they make their money back for their development costs, and they can say, oh yeah, and then you're also getting Dragon Ball Fighters. Yay! So they win off that.
here's something that I brought up earlier though. How do we know? And you know what? I agree with you guys' point. I'm not gonna try to disagree with it. But how do we know that these so-called Nintendo fans didn't already play this game on their PS4 or their Xbox or even their PC? You can't. I don't like being. I don't like putting Nintendo fans in this box and shoving them in the closet as if they're not aware of what's going on around them. But whatever. I agree.
But there are a lot of Nintendo fans who literally don't do that. They're Nintendo fans who won't. The guy that hosts the show said that he once would not touch another console as a Nintendo fan. Okay, there are people like that. Yes, you. You said that you would not touch. It was a point of time in your life you would
like 14 years old, man. I was young.
But there are 14-year-old Nintendo fans today who will not touch a PlayStation, who will not touch an Xbox, and they don't care about third party at all.
Grown men that feel that way. You talking about people?
Yes, grown men. And like I said, I've seen plenty of people who said once they found out that Xenoverse is coming to the Switch, because we found that out, a while ago. They said, "Well, I'm not going to get it because they hadn't got it already." And they said, "Well, I'm not going to get it for that. I'm going to wait till it come out for the Switch." And there's a lot of games, third-party games, that are actually coming to the Switch. There's not a lot of third-party games coming, but the third-party games that are coming that they hadn't played yet, they say, "Well, I want to wait to play it on the Switch because I want to play it on the go." So, there's definitely a reason to hold off on bringing that game to the Switch until after they reach that saturation point.
Man, I had to tell, like, dude, I was 14, bro. I wasn't mature yet.
Well, I I was never like that. So I guess the reason why that sounds so crazy to me, because I'm playing whatever console this. If it's got tight games, I'm playing. I don't care what it is. Whether it's ColecoVision, the television, Atari 2600, 5200, Master System, NES, SNES, Neo Geo, 3DO, CDI. I don't care. If it's tight, I'm playing it.
Shots
I'm
fired.
gonna tell you the truth though.
Apple IIe.
I had that mindset that it really wasn't that I wouldn't play nothing else, because I played the Genesis, I played the PlayStation, all that, and wanted it. I wasn't getting it. So what I was saying was my mindset was I just want Nintendo, forget everything else. But secretly, I wanted the Genesis. And for a season, I thought Sonic was better than Mario. I'll be honest with you. Like,
oh, man,
huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on Steam looking at these indie games. My bad.
Okay, so I thought Sonic was better than Mario for a second there when I first played Sonic, and the music and how fast he was running through the stage and that stuff really. I was like, dang, Nintendo. Sega just was Nintendo dope for real. I don't know, but anyway.
So you bought into the propaganda then, huh?
Man, I ain't buying into no propaganda. Them games was fun.
Genesis, 16 arcade graphics action. That's the blast processing and all that stuff. Yeah.
I remember we was heading out of town and my pops had a carriage van and had a TV in it and all that stuff. So I was watching the commercials and they were showing Holyfield boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, you talking about drooling, man.
Because we had never seen anything like that before, at least on a console.
No, we hadn't. So
hey, D2K just made me.
Go ahead,
Keith.
Oh, I was just say D2K just made me think of something. And I don't know if you had this on your notes level, but anybody got any thoughts about the Atari system thing?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Go ahead, we can make it real quick.
Well, I don't know. They haven't really said much about it other than the fact that it supposedly is going to play. It's not just a retro console because they already have those out. That Nintendo classic type thing where you just it's a plug and play type thing. They've had those for years, but this is an actual console from Atari, and this is not going to just play old classic games. It's going to play modern games as well. Now, I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know if this is going to be kind of like the Ouya, where it's an Android-based thing, or if this is an actual straight-up console from Atari, and they actually have people developing games for it.
I can tell you now that from what's being said, that this is going to be, they're going to seek out crowdfunding. So you're looking at more of a Ouya situation. They looking for folks to help crowdfund, help offset the finance aspects of the RNA and all that stuff that you got to do. So I don't see. I don't know. I think this might be. I think they might have saw what Nintendo did with all these minis, and I know y'all heard about the super no, the N64 mini supposed to be already patented.
Yeah,
Come out next year. So uh I don't know, man. I've been hearing about the Atari. I'm just not interested. So
Well, I mean, I already have all. I'm not interested in those things. I already have all this stuff. So it's like, what's the point? I already have this stuff. But it's interesting for people who don't, But I'm just trying to figure out if it's playing old games and modern games, how's it going to work? Is it going to be like a Raspberry Pi type thing?
I think you're looking at something like you said, the Ouya. It's probably have a lot of Android based type of games on it, crowd funded and all that. So I don't know how successful it can be going the whole crowd fund route. So had they had this fully backed and it's a device that they ain't looking for no aid in getting it out, then I'll be more interested. But the fact that they're going to seek some crowdfunding to offset the finances, that's red flag for me. So yeah, that means you ain't as serious as you claiming. When you want me to help you build it, I ain't got time for that. I just want to
Shenmue
buy
3.
it. I ain't trying to help you build it.
Yeah, vaporware.
Right. So, ooh yeah is oh yeah and gone, and I think that's what's gonna happen with this too. So anyway, anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy said he played that fighting game. It's a video from the 19th, so yesterday.
What?
It's a video with commentary on the game that he played. That he played the Akira game, the Street Fighter EX.
Okay.
He said he played it as of yesterday.
So it's a real thing.
Yeah, he said he played it yesterday. So there's a video. I haven't chance to listen to it because I'm on the podcast, but he was kind of explaining.
Send it to our hangout. I can figure it out.
So what is it? Is it a Street Fighter game, or is it something else, and they just spoofed it as Street Fighter to get people's attention?
Well, this company, I can't think of I can't say their name. They the ones who made the game and licensed, and Capcom basically allowed them to use the Street Fighter's characters, and they basically funded it and licensed it. But I think the company is trying to break away from Capcom. So the characters that they created, they are taking them and putting them in their own game. And what started out to be a prank actually was a real game, but I think that's how they chose to show it to the world.
So basically, this was a marketing strategy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it worked because it got it.
Well, yeah, it worked because I didn't know what you were talking about, and I saw it like, man, this is lit right here.
Yeah, K-Ball, send it to the hangout, man. I'm gonna watch it when we get off here.
All right.
So, Eric, you said you did see. Like, we can end here, man. But you said you did see Wonder Woman.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Who else here saw it? I know K-Bum saw it. Did you see it, Key?
Heck yeah. I had to go see Wonder Woman. Gotta support DC.
K-Bum, you've seen it, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Jesus. Take the wheel, Lord. Anyway.
Man, I told you, man. The wife went out of town, bro.
Man, what's up? What's up, bro? You the movie one. You supposed to be already seeing all this.
All right. Let me tell you, I was at the movie theater in New York. My wife was at work. I was about to walk into the movie theater. and watched Wonder Woman. I called my wife and said, "Hey, baby, is it okay if I watch Wonder Woman without you?" And she gave me that that not saying no, but you are saying no type of thing.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I'll wait and we'll watch it together.
Man, she saved your life, boy. You going up to New York watching a movie, you might get shot up in there. He must, somebody come in there and yell Trump and just start shooting everybody up in there. Anyway, I'm too scared to go to the theater in New York. But anyway, go ahead, man. That's what's up. You gotta go see both of these movies, man.
I know,
So we can
man.
talk about them.
And Planet of the Apes too.
Yeah, why you just won't catch it on the stick?
No, man, I gotta watch those kind of movies on the real deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't. I'm like that too. My brother came over here and was trying to watch. What was that? Wasn't Spider-Man. It was Kong. I hadn't seen Kong yet. And he trying to watch it on the stick. I'm like, dude, no, you gotta go home. Get out of here. Take it off my TV. Get out. I want to see it in its full glory. I do not want to see it on this bootleg crap. Get that mess out of here, bro.
Yeah.
They be getting mad at me.
It was I've said this many times before, is I'm not a prisoner of the moment. I don't allow myself to get swayed by public opinion on things, and a lot of people were going ham over Wonder Woman, and I thought the movie was excellent. I don't think it was as good as people made it out to be, though.
I agree, and that's why I want K-Bone to see it so we can talk about it. It was definitely a good movie.
I would go as far as to say that as the actual DC cinematic universe, which started with Man of Steel, it's the best movie they've done.
That's
as far as DC's complete history of movies, it's got some stuff over it.
Yeah. And I would just go say I like Man of Steel. I don't know why folks hate on Man of Steel. I liked it, but anyway.
Because he wasn't Superman. He didn't do anything heroic.
This is my thing with Man of Steel, and I know we gotta go, but I gotta say this.
He watched his daddy die. That was stupid.
This is the part I like. This is what I like about Superman. If Superman was a real character in real life, everything you saw would be what actually happened. So the fact that they made Superman real and not the dude that can fight off this guy and save everybody at the same time, I like that. They made
if you had Superman's powers, you would sit there and watch your daddy die.
Watch your daddy die.
No. I ain't saying that the movie didn't have some flaws. I'm saying,
but you just said that's if this is a real person and you're a real person.
I'm talking about the fact that when he was fighting, a lot of folks never brought up the fact that he watched his dad die, which I thought that was stupid. Because I would have saved him despite what he had to say. The part where he was fighting everybody and the building was blowing up and he just destroyed downtown. I like that part.
Well, I never had a problem with that because that is what would actually happen.
Right.
I don't have a problem with the actual damage happening. It's just the fact that you have to stay close to the source material, and they basically made this character into somebody that the character is not. Well, that's like Goku, getting into a fight against Cell. And seeing Chi-Chi about to get hit by a rock, he just said, "Oh well,
I'd rather fight Cell."
I'd rather fight Cell. As much as he loves fighting, he's going to protect those people that he cares about.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the source material, the comic book version of Superman is that the comic book, but trying to bring them to the real screen and trying to make them realistic, I thought they did that right. Outside of letting his dad die, everything else made sense to me. Now Batman versus Superman was long and kind of boring. I'll be honest. I watched it. I can't sit through that whole movie. But Man of Steel was good to me, man. I enjoyed it. I thought it was up there. It's one of my favorite one of my top ones. It's up there.
The one thing they never do in Superman movies, or just Superman in general, is the restraint. Can you imagine having all that power and not being able to use it and have to suppress that all the time? They should really. I would focus on that in a Superman movie. It's like, imagine going to hug somebody and you accidentally kill them. That's the type of stuff that he got to deal with.
True.
Yeah, just handling something as simple as a glass, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Now, let me ask this, and we get out of here after this. How much pressure do you think is on Black Panther?
None. People are ready for this. People are really excited about it. I don't think there's any pressure for it to be great. I think there's enough of a track record for Marvel movies that people are expecting it to be good. And they've already seen Black Panther in Civil War, so they know that the actor is good. They know that the director is good because it's the same director from the movie Creed. And they have the same actor from Creed in the movie as well. So I don't see why there's any really pressure for it to do well, because there's no reason for it not to do well.
Well, I do see some pressure because it's going to be the first Black-dominated action hero since Blade.
I don't buy into that. I mean, yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you know, these are actors and actresses, and if they are good actors and actresses, it's going to be a good movie. The director is a good director. The writer is a good writer. It doesn't matter if because this is a day and age where people want to see this.
I hope so.
I want to see
it bad, but
I think
that scene so far looks ridiculous.
Ooh.
But yeah.
I think there was more pressure on Ant-Man than Black Panther. I also think
because Ant-Man,
Spider-Man being good,
yes,
Black Panther being good.
Yes, I agree with that also, because you know, basically, you know, it was we finally got Spider-Man back. People wanted it back so bad. Now you got it back, so you can't lay an egg, you know, at that point. So yeah, but I mean, it's not. There's no. I don't think there's any pressure at all, because if it's not good, then it's like, well, you know, it's. But if it's great, then you say, well, okay, good. I mean, they're in a good spot. I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just disrespected Meteor Man and Blank Man. Those are two awesome Black movies.
Y'all do know half of our viewing audience probably have no idea what you just said.
What is it, Johnny 5000? What was his name?
I don't even
What was the
remember.
robot's name?
Johnny Five?
No, my dad, Johnny Five. Yeah, my dad, man, that dude had my Jones on me so bad. He said, "You look like when he was crying about Johnny Five dying, and he was all in Johnny Five's camera crying." He said, "That's right." He said, "That's me." He said it was me, and he was laughing hard. My older brother laughing at me, man. But I never forget that. But yeah.
Oh, you're talking about something else. That's not Johnny Five. Johnny Five is a robot from Short Circuit.
Johnny number 5.
No, what was the one from Blanket Man? What was his name?
Oh.
That was a robot in that movie?
It was something. Anyway, it was basically.
He says a robot in the movie.
It's been a while.
I've never seen it. So.
Basically, it was a washing machine. Hold on, let me look at what was the name of that.
My man said, Eddie whispered that too. He said, "Hey man, was there a robot in the movie?"
Yeah, you brought up Blake, man, Keith, and you don't even know it's a robot.
I don't remember there's a robot in the movie. It's been a long time. I was young, man. Come on now.
Robot.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of black superhero movies, can't forget about the Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Yes, I can forget about that.
J5. That's what it was. It was J5.
Okay.
J5.
Still the same
anyway,
thing, you know.
And then you got to bring up the one with Will Smith.
The
Hancock?
Hancock.
You can keep that.
Fake Superman. Hey, at least he was heroic.
Yeah.
It's more heroic than Superman was. Shoot.
Ain't that crazy that the closer he got to the woman, the weaker he got? What was that? What was that symbolic of? Anyway, we ain't got time to break up.
Talking about black man, white.
I know what
Hey
I'm
man,
trying to
let's
say,
get off.
Bro.
We say
We should wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Roll the credits.
Yeah, let's end up. Let's end there.
Live and Level Broadcast was brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores.
Anyway, man, this was the Live and Level Gamers podcast. I'm gonna let these dudes sign out, starting with D2K. Go ahead, man.
Sorry, I was late. I was on the phone, so it's good to come in and chime in for a little bit and see you guys, and I guess we'll do it again later.
All right, K-Bomb 20.
OJ is free. It's good to talk to you guys, man. I enjoyed the podcast. I just read something else talking about they're supposed to be making a Dr. Doom movie. I guess we may chop that up about that a little bit later, another time. But yeah, it's been fun.
Okay, Keith Norris.
I concur. It has definitely been fun. Anybody who has a Steam or a PC, check out Humble Bundle. They got some sales going on. Some games are free. And I think, Level, that we should have a podcast, an impromptu podcast about like Dragon Ball, different type of movies and stuff like that. I think that would be very fun.
Let's do it. We can go away from games all the time. I'm going to say this. Michael Vick, stop talking about that man hair.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I did a nice long blog about that.
I'm a big Mike Vick fan. That hurt me though when I saw that. But anyway, this was the Live and Level Gamers podcast. Till next time, folks. Hopefully we can jump on Sunday if possible, because I'm pretty sure Jedi Knight want to jump on, so I will try. But if not, then we will see you next Thursday. I will be Splatooned out tomorrow.
Me too.
So, yeah. Anyway, I'll be jumping on with Keith Norris. Hopefully, we can get some type of voice chat going on. Hopefully, none of us burn up or get electrocuted. I got the duct tape. He got the electricity tape. Hey, it is what it is. like D2K said, when it comes to Nintendo, what you say, expect? Hope for nothing, expect something that you say. I can't remember.
I forgot how to. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot what it is. It's something like that. Expect unexpected.
Yeah. But anyway.
Well, just when you think you got all the answers, they change the questions. Basically.
All righty. So anyway, till next time, folks. Deuces.